I walked into the hospital room. Your mother held you, wrapped in a pink blanket. Stood behind you and we knew.
And you were disappointed.
I was upset, said some things, scared your mother.
I was relieved when your hearing finally went away.
Before then, you were very hard of hearing. Without hearing aids, you heard very little. A loud noise, door slam, a siren.
A tea kettle.
What?
You never gave me hearing aids. Why? So you could say I was born deaf?
We did what we felt was best for our daughter.
You couldn't accept me as I was.
Is everyone mad at me?
No, nobody's mad at you. I'm very proud of you. Okay. This is the story of Pinocchio. All right. Once upon a time, there was a woodcutter. Now, he was very lonely. What this old man wanted more than anything in the world was a son. Instead, he only had a puppet. So, this lonely man pretended that the puppet was a real boy. So, you were born hearing? I saw.
That was a private conversation.
I was worried about you. Don't walk away from me. I love you, all right? I am not the big, bad hearing man.
Oh, deaf hearing. I'm sick of it, all of it.
Laura,
Ugh.
Laura, look at me. Look at me.
No, leave me alone. Don't touch me. Everybody leave
Laura.
me alone.
Laura, stop. Stop it. Stop it. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay.
What's that?
A robot.
A robot. Mm-hmm. Good one.
Thanks.
Your father wants you to know that he loves you very much.
I know he does.
You have to understand that it isn't easy for him.
Mom, can I go out and play?
Mm-hmm. That's fine. Let me take a look. What do I do about Adam? About my husband?
When your father and I were first married,
Your marriage and mine, your era and mine were worlds apart.
perhaps,
I teach deaf kids. But I had never seen a child slowly go deaf over time until it happened to my son.
it happened to my daughter.
He would stand right here in this room and turn up the TV set louder and louder and still not hear it, and then look to me.
It can be heartbreaking.
Well, the deaf part of me said, "Don't worry, Adam, there's nothing wrong with you."
That's right.
But the mother part of me was saying, "My little boy is scared and confused, and I can't help him." Well, maybe now I can.
You have choices today I never had to face.
If you had a choice with me, what would you have done?
You are what you are meant to be. You're a teacher. What is the lesson you want to give your son?
Excuse me, Dr. Walter, I can't get a... I was just saying, I can't get a... Oh, I'm sorry. You're deaf?
Hard of hearing.
Oh, no one told me.
One partner in your marriage is deaf. That's why I've been assigned to your case. Please, have a seat. Do you want some coffee?
No, thank you. Being hard of hearing and deaf are two different things.
Yes. I think I heard that from somewhere. So, you were saying?
Yeah, I can't get a signal in this area for... My wife, has she called you yet?
No. No, she hasn't.
Well, she's late. I don't know where she is.
You're here.
Yes, I'm here. But I think the whole point was for you to assess Laura and me as a couple.
That's right.
Well, I hate to point out the obvious, but Laura's not here.
That's right.
And if she's not here, then she can't tell us how she feels about the implant.
I think she is telling us how she feels about the implant. I hate to point out the obvious. Is this typical of Laura? Not calling? Not showing up?
No.
And why is she doing it now?
I want to focus on Adam, not make this about her.
He's her son.
Yeah, well, he's my son, too. I mean, what am I? Am I the evil-hearing father because, I want my kid to, hear again?
No, of course not.
Thank you.
But you know what? Debating on the pros and cons of getting an implant is not my job. It doesn't interest me.
Oh. Well, what does interest you?
You. You interest me. Talk with your wife and we'll arrange another time.
I don't think I have any more time. May I ask you a question?
Of course. That's why I'm here.
When Laura and I got married, we wanted to have a baby, real bad. I knew when Adam was conceived, it was beautiful. I knew we were making our baby.
That's a nice thing to remember.
No, it's not. Because when I was holding Laura in my arms, all I could think about was, just, please, make us a hearing baby. Does that make me bad?
El futuro de su familia.
You know, Frank, I'd never try to take your place with him.
It's late.
Adam's sleeping?
Yeah, he kept asking me, where's Daddy?
I met with the therapist today. We had that appointment, remember?
I was worried that something had happened.
Something did happen. Did you explain to Adam why Mommy not only didn't show up at her 3:45 appointment with the therapist and with Daddy, but didn't even call?
I tried calling. I tried texting. But it wouldn't send. It just said signal failure.
Well, I couldn't get a signal in that building, so...
So I tried to reach the receptionist. I typed a message, but stopped.
Mm-hmm.
The words I typed on my screen were there. Can you find my husband? Where have you gone? 1 + 1 makes 2. I teach math, don't forget.
1 + 1 makes 2?
Adam and I. If there's something wrong with Adam, then there's something wrong with me. And I don't know when that happened. When did that happen?
When did that happen? That I became disabled? To you, disabled. Not able to, what, be your wife, your lover, carry on a conversation? What? What happened?
You can't have a conversation with anyone without me, can you? Without me having to interpret everything for you, back and forth, back and forth. God gave me a hearing son, and then he let me fall in love with him. And then he... God gave me a hearing son, and then he took him away from me. And now I see him sitting with you, just signing away, and I think to myself, no, it's not fair. He was mine.
He's ours.
I want my son back.
We were a family.
So much has happened since Adam's birthday. My wife and I are now here, legally separated. Your Honor, please, just give me my son.
Are you currently employed, Mr. Miller?
I work at Krupp, Harrison, and Dean. It's one of the biggest PR firms in the city.
And how does your salary compare to that of your wife?
I make more than 3 times her salary, and next year they're going to make me senior vice president.
Your Honor, submitted are financial statements of Mr. Miller's current holdings, as well as projection reports of future earnings. It includes the financial portfolio Mr. Miller has created to fund Adam's future care and education.
Does it also include the cost of getting a cochlear implant?
Objection.
Sustained, out of line. I'm warning you.
Mr. Miller, are you willing and able to undertake the financial responsibility of raising a child, as well as alimony payments to your wife, should your separation become final?
I'll provide Adam with whatever he needs and help Laura any way I can.
Mr. Miller, do you love your son?
More than anything in the world.
Does he seem any less to you now that he is deaf?
Absolutely not. He's my son. I want my son.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. No further questions.
Mr. Miller, if you retain custody of your son, will you give him a cochlear implant?
Objection. The question is hypothetical and ask the witness to theorize on future
Your
events.
Honor, the question is no more hypothetical than a report of projected earnings. Mr. Miller could lose his job tomorrow. The question is fundamental to the child's future under care of this witness.
I'll allow it, but remember, this is a custody hearing. It's not a legal debate about implants. The witness will answer.
Mr. Miller, I'll ask you again. If you receive custody of your son, will you give him a cochlear implant?
He'll never hear Mozart again, or the Beatles,
Yes or no?
or Beethoven,
Beethoven was deaf, Mr.
or the
Miller.
crack of a baseball bat in a major league ballpark.
Yes or no?
I want my son to hear those things. Yes, I would give him a cochlear implant.
So the truth is you don't accept your son for who he is, do you?
Of course I do.
Then why are you planning to have him surgically altered?
Objection. Inflammatory.
Sustained.
Why the rush, Mr. Miller? Why not allow Adam the freedom of experiencing life as a deaf person? Then as an adult, he can decide for himself.
The best time is now.
For him or for you?
A parent has to decide what's best for his child.
Yeah, but the child's mother is pleading with you not to do it. Is she not also the child's parent? She may be deaf, but she has a voice. Does she not, Mr. Miller?
I'm thinking of Adam's best interests.
But is it in Adam's best interest to surgically insert an electronic device into his skull when the benefits are controversial and the long-term effects are unknown?
I want my son to be able to hear a smoke detector, or a symphony, use a telephone, or hear someone yell, "Look out," or his grandmother say, "I love you." I mean, is that such a terrible thing?
Mr. Miller, nobody is saying
What am I
that's a
supposed
terrible...
to do? Keep him from hearing on purpose when I don't have to? Why would I do that? What kind of father would I
Your
be?
Honor, could you
I would
please
cut off my
answer the
right arm in a
question?
heartbeat for my boy. That made his life easier. Isn't that how a parent is supposed to feel?
Is Dan a bad father?
No,
And do you consider yourself a good mother?
of course.
And yet Dan is trying to afford every opportunity for your son, and you are not.
Objection.
I'll rephrase. How do you reconcile the fact that your son, without an implant, has a much more limited future?
That's a matter of opinion. I don't think he does.
Opinion, Mrs. Miller. We've established that statistically.
I'm a teacher. I teach my students that deafness is not a disability.
All right.
That it's something to be
All right,
celebrated.
thank you, Mrs.
Wait,
Miller.
I've not stopped talking.
You answered the question, Mrs.
Your
Miller.
Honor, objection. The witness should be allowed to answer the question fully.
I will allow it. The witness will continue.
I teach them to accept their deafness, cherish it, revel in it. As his mother, I tell Adam to accept his deafness, that he is not disabled.
Your Honor, we've already
He is
established that
able to-
Adam is disabled.
You've made your point, Mr. Grisham.
He is able to do everything except hear. That his inability to hear has no effect on his ability to think, to achieve, to love.
Adam's ability to love is not in question here, Your Honor.
Let me hear her out, Mr. Grisham.
My job is to teach Adam to be himself, to thrive and grow up to become a decent and kind man no matter what, to celebrate his difference, his uniqueness. Adam has already experienced one trauma, becoming deaf. I feel he shouldn't be put through another one. I believe what's best for Adam is to let him be. Let him be Adam. And that's why I must have custody of my son.
Let me remind both parties, once again, this is a custody hearing. The purpose of these proceedings is not for the court to decide whether the minor should receive an implant. That's a personal issue. I will deliberate over the weekend. This court will reconvene on Monday at 3 o'clock, at which time I will rule on the matter of the custody of the minor.
Leonard, what does this mean?
Exactly what she said. We have to wait till Monday.
Longest weekend of my life.
Still have the rest of the day. Go to work, Dan.
Do you think I have a chance?
You have a good chance. Have a nice weekend. See you Monday.
Yeah.
See you Monday, Miss Tate.
Yeah, see you then.
And I was thinking, I've been very happy at Hunter, Connor and Associates, so how do I know we won't regret a move? Dan?
What? Oh, no, I heard you.
Did you? Really?
Oh, no, I did. To me, public relations is about perception. My job is to recognize what it is about you that makes you, unique, special.
Look, I got a mustache.
Yes, I can see that.
See? I can shave just like Daddy. When is Daddy coming home?
Drink up. Time for bed.
I don't like Daddy not being here with us.
Neither do I.
I didn't know. My hands are shaking. My father used to tell me that life was shaped by choices. Everybody must decide what's best for them. Make their choice. From the beginning, I said I only wanted what was best for Adam. That's not true. I really wanted what was best for me. And what's best for me is you. I miss my best friend.
I've been so afraid of losing my connection with my boy. And through all of this, all I wanted was to run to my best friend and talk, to share how scared I am, how hurt I felt, how confused I've been, how much I've been struggling. And the hardest part was not being able to. I want my best friend back. Adam wants, he needs both of us.
I don't think we need a judge to decide, to choose what's best for us.
And whatever choices we make together.